Welcome to the second exercise in a series of exercises that will help you complete your MRK 260 term project. This exercise follows after the posts exercise, which taught you how to create posts and had you create a bunch of posts about dogs. In this exercise, we're going to play around with and learn how to search for, install, and configure a theme for your site. We're going to use a specific theme. You will probably want to find one that's more suitable for your content and your personal tastes later on. In order to complete this exercise, you're going to need the instruction document, Word document that you can see here on my screen. It basically goes through in text the things that I'm going to be demonstrating in the video. You will also require some files in order to complete this. Of course, the Word document and a WordPress themes.zip file. Your professor should provide this for you on Blackboard. After you've downloaded the WordPress themes file to your computer, make sure, because it is a zip or compressed file, make sure that you extract the contents. On a Windows computer, I simply right-click, choose Extract All, and then say Extract, and when the files have been extracted, they appear in the same folder that the original zip file was in. I will then go ahead and, as I mentioned before, delete the zip file, the one with the zipper on it, because we don't want to get confused and go into the wrong place later on when we're working on the exercise. Once you have the files that are required for this exercise, the next step is to log into your WordPress site. So to do that, remember that you need to go to your WordPress installation on Dragon Teach. Remember, it's going to be your username.dragonteach.com. Make sure that you put that in. Also remember to put in the S or HTTPS so that you have a secure connection to it. And once you hit enter, you should end up at your website. You know it's your website because it will look like your website. It should have your name on it somewhere, likely has your username, and of course the URL will for sure have your username in it. You'll notice that on my site, I can see the 3 posts that I put in for the previous exercise, as well as the Hello World post that came with WordPress installation initially. In this, you can see the featured images are all prominently displayed. This is a feature image, this is a feature image, and this one is also a featured image. Notice that the continue reading links are there, and if I click on that, it jumps to the actual post. So here is my post, the name of the post, my little excerpt statement here, and then the beginning of my post. To log into your website, remember that after you've gone to it, you need to go to your URL and add wp-admin to the end. When you do that, you will end up with the login screen where you could put in your credentials and you can log in. So let me just log in, and we will now be at our dashboard. Now that we're at our dashboard, we can continue with this exercise and start exploring themes. The default installation of WordPress is running a theme. Every year they put out a theme. Last year it was 2019. This year is 2020. If you're viewing this in 2021, it will probably say 2021. So this is just a basic generic theme, which is great for people to learn WordPress. But as you can see, it's not particularly attractive. This is a rather ugly looking site. So we're going to want to find a much more attractive theme. To find a more attractive theme, you need to go to Appearance and choose Themes. So from the dashboard, go to Appearance and choose Themes. You'll notice that when you go to themes, there are 1, 2, 3 themes that are installed into WordPress by default. This may differ on different hosting platforms, but these are the themes that have been pre-installed. Notice that we have the ability to add new themes. So if we don't like any of these, and by the way, they're all roughly the same kind of boring, blah looking, very basic themes, we can add a new theme to our installation. Something to note, don't install too many themes into your WordPress installation. It will cause you problems down the road. It's okay to experiment with 1 or 2, maybe even 3 additional themes, but don't install lots and lots of themes, or you may find that your site becomes corrupt. To add a new theme to your WordPress installation, all you need to do is click on the Add New Theme button. From here, you will be brought to a list of available themes. Note that this number up here that says 15 refers to the 15 featured themes that are available. If you click on the popular link, you'll notice there are 3,826 themes available for you. Notice you also have the ability to upload a theme. You can have a custom theme developed for your website. This is not something you will do for a project here at the college, but in a business environment, most businesses will have a custom or customized theme developed for their website so that it's unique just to that company and that company's needs. However, for this project, one of these 3,800 themes is going to be more than sufficient for you. This is a huge number, so it's very difficult to figure out. You can't look through 3,800 themes. This is where the feature filter comes in. The feature filter allows you to filter the themes that are presented. For example, we're creating a blog website, so why not filter for themes that have been tagged as blog ready or useful for blogs. In the next column, we have features. If you're concerned about accessibility, and we all really should be, you might want to make sure that you choose accessibility ready and make sure that the website is accessible, meaning it has components that make it easier to be used for people that have disabilities. Lastly, we can decide on the layout. You may recall that when you design a website, you might sketch out a wireframe on a piece of paper. The logo goes here, a title goes here, a picture goes there, content goes here. So you might want to narrow down themes that match what you envision for your site. For example, maybe you want themes that are 1 column wide. Maybe you want a theme that is 2 columns in layout. So you can, again, filter and find themes that are a little bit more to your liking by filtering and reducing the number of things that will show up. So I'm going to leave blog and accessibility ready on and choose apply filters. Notice that it brings me down to 62. These are themes that are accessibility ready. The exercise asks you to find a specific theme, particularly the Minerva theme. So type Minerva into the search box and it should show you one theme called Minerva. There's no specific reason why this theme was selected. It's just a consistent theme that everyone can practice with, and then you, of course, can choose your own theme. The Minerva theme, if you want to learn more about it, or if you want to learn more about any of the available themes, when you hover over it, you can choose the Details and Preview button. I click on the Details and Preview button. We get a bit of a preview of what it looks like. It's not particularly exciting here, it doesn't have a lot of content in it. You can also read about it down here in the side, and quite often there are websites where you can actually see a more fleshed out demo of the theme. If you believe the theme will meet your needs, you need to click on the Install button. And again, do not install too many themes. 1, 2, maybe 3 additional themes so that you can experiment a little bit, but don't put too many themes in. It can cause your WordPress installation to become corrupt. Once you've decided you think the theme will suit your needs, click on the Install button to install the theme into your WordPress installation. Once you've installed it into your WordPress installation, we can close the theme editor and we can go back here to our list of themes and we can click on either the Live Preview or the Activate button. Now, what the Live Preview will do is it will load your content into the Minerva theme and it will show you what the site will look like with that theme. Notice that it already looks better than the theme that we were using previously. If you think that it looks the way you want, you can click on Activate and Publish. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this will now be the theme for my website. Now that we've selected and activated our theme, we need to customize it. Customizing a theme allows you to make it your own. So we're going to start here on step number 8. We're going to choose Appearance Customize, and if you've activated your theme, you should already be in this location. But if you are not, you can go back to your dashboard. If you go to Customize, you will get this menu up. The first thing we want to do is modify our site identity. So we're going to work down this list of options, and different themes may have more or less options in this particular menu. So just looking at what we want to do, we want to select a logo. We're going to put a logo on the site. We are going to change the site title to Puppy Love. We're going to add a tagline called Just Another Puppy Blog, and we're going to create a site icon or upload a site icon for the site. Now I've created all of the graphics for you, and they were located in the zip file which you extracted earlier. So you should be able to just go back and select those. Let's begin with site identity. First step we want to do is choose Select Logo. Now I've already uploaded the logo that I created. Notice here it says Selected Image Dimensions. Quite often you will find directions that will help you create the appropriate sized elements for your site. So if it's a header, if it's a banner, if it's an element of the site, watch for instructions or notes on the appropriate size. If you are going to create this logo, you could use a program like Canva, for example, and you would want to create a new document which is 250 pixels by 250 pixels in size, and then build your logo within that space. I've already done that with this logo. Notice I've already put in some alt text, and I've already put in a description. You should always do this, as I mentioned previously. Now I will choose Select. It gives me the ability to do a little bit of cropping, but you really should design all of your graphics and elements so they are the correct size without the need to do cropping. I'm going to skip cropping, and there is the logo for my website. Next, we're going to change the title of the site. We want it to be Puppy Love. So we'll type in the title of the website. And then lastly, here, we want it to read Just Another Puppy Blog as the tagline. So I'll go back here and put in Just Another Puppy Blog for the tagline. Now notice this checkbox here. You do not need to have the title and the tagline display. For example, you could create a graphical logo or a banner that you could use for this website that could replace this text-based title. There's lots of different things you can do, but for now, we'll just keep this simple and follow the instructions. Next, we want to choose a site icon. Again, here's an example right here of instructions that tell you the size something should be. It said site icon should be square and at least 512 by 512 pixels. I'm going to choose a site icon. I'm going to upload it from the folder that we extracted. Here it is here, I've called it site icon. It's already the correct dimension, so I will choose Open. I can put in an alt tag, so I'll put in site icon, and I can put a description, graphic of a dog with its ear up, and then I will select that. Notice that the site icon, once you've selected it, in browsers that support site icons, will show this little icon up in the tab. Notice here, I've got a blank page showing up in the tab. This should change to a little puppy site icon once I save this and update and publish my site. Just a note, for your site, you're going to want to go back and either remove or change the site icon, remove and change the site logo, change the site title, and change the tagline to be the things for your site. But for now, let's practice with these graphics that you've been provided. Once I've done this, I can click on Publish, and when I preview my site, it should show up with that site icon. So let's take a look. MRK260 Prof. and there it is. The site icon is showing up in the tab, and here's what my site looks like. Considerably better than it did previously, and there are all of my posts. Also notice that the continue reading now looks like this on this particular site. And here's my featured image. Now that we've set our icon and our logo and our site title, let's go back and continue to customize this theme. Now, if I click on the X at the top, it will close the customizing tab and it will bring us back to our normal dashboard. What I'm going to do is click on this little arrow here to bring me back to the list. Under colors, and this is an area you should do some experimenting with because you can always change it back. What is the color of the header text? Notice up here it's black. What is the background color of the header? This is the header area up here. Right now it is white, but we can change those colors. What is the color of the submenu? Is it light? Is it dark? You can play around with these and find out what changes or what looks different on your site. And of course you can notice this is a link. What is the color of the link? Notice that when I hover over this, or I hover over this, or these links here, they are all this color. I can make adjustments or change them by adjusting this bar. One other thing I want to point out, if you look at the very bottom down here, this is a responsive theme, meaning it will automatically reformat for different devices. Right now I'm looking at a display over here, and I'll maximize this. A display over here which is designed for a computer screen. If I want to see what it will look like on a tablet, I can click tablet. If I want to find out what it will look like on a smartphone, I can click on this. This is what it will look like on a smartphone. This is what it will look like on a tablet. And this is what it will look like on a computer screen. So remember to check out your design and see what it looks like on different devices. I hope that your theme has these. You really want to make sure that you are mobile friendly for sure, particularly in today's world. Now that I've adjusted my colors or left them alone, let's move back and let's go to the next box, which is header image. Now there is no header image, so we could have a background color up here, or we can have a picture in the background. Notice that if you want to have a header image, again, they've provided you in the customization info box the dimensions of the header. Right here it says no image set. I'm going to go and choose a new image, and I've provided a couple of them for you. So I'm going to select header 1. I will open this. Of course, I should do the alt text and the description. I can then crop my image, and you'll notice this is the size of the image. I've actually made it, the picture I'm using is much larger. Really what I should have done is created a picture that is exactly this size, but I wanted you to be able to see that you can do some cropping and manipulating. So I'm going to make an adjustment here. I want to get this guy right here. I want his eyes in the top third, which is where eyes should be in a photograph. And then I'll choose crop image. Notice that that shows up in the background. I want to point something out about the image that I'm using. You can notice that it's faded out. It's not a particularly contrasty picture. For instance, when you compare it to this one below, it originally looked like the picture below. It was a very clear, high contrast picture. The problem is the text was not readable on top of it, and there was no color I could choose for this text that would allow it to show up properly and be readable. The solution was I took the photograph into Canva and I reduced the opacity, meaning I faded it out. And by fading it out and making it lighter, it did not conflict with the words in the title and the menu at the top. So you have to think about little things like this while you're working on your images and pictures. Use a photo editing tool. It could be Canva, it could be Photoshop, or whatever you're comfortable with, in order to manipulate and modify your pictures so that they work properly with your theme. You can't just throw anything in. You need to put a little bit of thought and energy into it if you want it to be perfect. Notice that we can add additional headers. So I'm going to add a new image. I'm going to upload, and I will select the second picture. Again, I would put alt text and a description in, and then I will adjust this one. I was only able to find 2 pictures that had dogs in a long little list like this, so I only have 2, but you could have as many header images as you like. And you can choose this button here, which says randomize. And what will happen is each time somebody comes to your website, a different header potentially might show up on the screen. So it will give a little bit more dynamic feel to your website if your headers can move. There are other options you have in various themes. For example, there are themes that will allow you to upload a small video clip and you can have live motion in the header. There's all kinds of different options for themes. This just happens to be the options for this one. Now that I've set that up, I'm going to go back and let's take a look at the next tab, background image. Background image would show up back here in behind the pictures. You can experiment with it. I personally don't like background images. I think they make a website, they can make a website look kind of cluttered and junky, but it is, again, something that you might want to experiment. I can certainly tell you that there have been plenty of really nice looking websites where people have used background images. If you want to do that, you would select the image and then you would take a look at what happens. You might need to make some adjustments. You might change your mind. The next customization I'm going to do is the menu. Part of your project is that you need to have a custom menu. Notice up here that I have a single page in my website. I have 3 posts, and if I scroll down I can see my posts, but remember, posts are not the same as pages. So I'm going to publish the changes I made previously, which were the colors, the header image, and then I'm going to close the customizer so that I can go back to my dashboard. And remember, if I click on posts, I can see the 3 posts that I created. If I click on pages, these are the pages that exist. One of them is a draft, so it's not being published. The other one is this one, sample page. And the sample page, if I click on it, is just a simple sample page that shows you some of the things you can do. If I go to my website and I reload my website, there is my newly modified website with my header image. If I click on the menu and I click on sample page, it will bring me to that sample page. Now I'd like to modify this. I need to have a home link, I'd like to have a contact, and I'd like to have an about page. Let's go back to the dashboard. I will go back to the dashboard here. And let's go back to customize. And we will go back to the menus link. Now you'll notice that right now it says that your site does not have any menus. You might wonder then where this comes from. I can tell you that by default, WordPress will take the names of any pages that have been published and it will put those names into the menu. Of course, if you have a long name like "This is my contact page," what you would see up here is the name "This is my contact page" as a link in the menu. Doesn't look very good. In order to take control of your menu, you can create a new menu. So let's create a new menu. Let's call this Top Menu. And I'm calling it Top Menu because some themes have the ability to have more than one menu. You can actually create as many menus as you would like. Next, I'm going to tell the menu where it should go. For example, here it says menu location. In this theme, in the Minerva theme, there is only one primary location for a menu, and it's right up here in the top. So I will choose primary. This means the menu I'm going to create right now, called Top Menu, will be used in this space. Now I can click on Next. I now have a menu that you'll notice does not have any links in it. I need to add items. So I'm going to click on Add Items, and you're always going to want to click and add the home. You always want to have a home link in your menu. Next, we can add some new pages. Note that when you create pages here, it will actually create pages in WordPress. You can go back then later and edit and modify these pages. So let's add a page called Contact Me. And I will add that page. And let's do another one called About Me. And I will add that page. Now that I have these 3 pages, I can publish it and it will become my menu. Note that the pages that we have entered here will actually be added to the Pages menu in WordPress. Note that also that I called them About Me, Contact Me, because that's what I wanted the title of the page to be, and that's what's shown up here in the menu. However, you may want to change the name that shows up in the menu without changing the name of the page. This is important if you need a long name on the top of your page, but it doesn't fit properly or work well for the menu. To modify and make changes to that, you can simply click on the down arrow, and here where it says navigation label, you can change or modify the label to be whatever you want. In this instance, I will just remove the word me. I'll do the same thing here for contact me. I'll remove the word me. Additionally, you can reorder or rearrange simply by dragging and dropping. And you can also create nested menus or submenus simply by dragging things over by a few degrees. And you'll notice now here my menu has flyouts and drop downs. If you don't want that anymore, you can put it back. It's a good idea to experiment with menus, learn what you can do, and make them work for yourself. Also notice that you can add other items. Remember the categories we added to our posts? We can actually add something like, for example, puppies to our menu. What will happen when somebody clicks on the puppies link is any posts that are part of the category puppies will just simply show up on the page. You can also do the same thing for tags. A couple of other excellent reasons to make sure that you use categories and possibly to use tags. If you want to remove something from a menu, simply click on the X and it will be removed from the menu. Of course, remember to publish when you're done so that those changes have been saved. Now that we've finished configuring our menus, let's move on to the next item, which is widgets. Widgets are little programs that you can insert or embed into your template that provide various functions that might be useful for your visitors to enjoy. If we want to take a look at where widgets are, widgets in this particular theme, the Minerva theme, this is a widget area over here. Here is a search widget, here's a recent posts widget, and here's a recent comments widget. What you cannot see is at the bottom of the entire page, there are actually 3 columns. There is a footer 1 widget here area, there's a footer 2 widget area here, and there's a footer 3 widget area here. If I go back to my dashboard, you'll notice I don't see the sidebar widget area over here. What I'm going to do is in my browser, I'm just going to reduce it a little bit, make the screen a little bit smaller so that I can see those widget areas. Notice each of them has a little edit thing. Different browsers have different ways to zoom in and out. Normally, if the browser was full screen like this, we would see everything, but because we have the configuration tool over here, our screen is a little bit squished. So I moved it to 90%, and therefore I can see the widget area. And that's going to be useful for you to understand what's going on when I make changes. I can now click on widgets, and you'll notice there is a sidebar widget area, which is this area over here. And I said there are 3 widgets in that currently. There's a footer 1, footer 2, and footer 3. And I mentioned that those are all at the bottom of the screen, and since there's nothing in them right now, you can't see anything. Let's take a look quickly at the sidebar widget area. Notice there's 1, 2, 3 widgets in that area. And look what happens if I was to take the search widget and drag it down. You'll notice it rearranges over here. If I take recent comments and put it on the top, notice it rearranges over here. So widgets are like little tools or little programs that you can put in place to add functionality. If I go back out of the sidebar and click on footer 1, you'll notice that there are no widgets in the footer 1 area. But if I click on add widget, here is a list of all of the widgets that are installed on this site. And the one that I like to tell people to experiment with is the calendar widget right here, because everybody knows what a calendar looks like. It's square, it's blocky. So if I choose calendar, notice it adds a calendar widget in the footer widget area 1. And if I actually go over to this preview side and scroll all the way down, there is the calendar widget. Notice it's on the left side. There's also a middle widget area and a right-hand widget area. Imagine for a minute websites that you've seen that may have a configuration like this. They might have a map and an address. They might have a menu or navigation menu in this area, and they might have, I don't know, contact information perhaps in a panel. So there's different ways you can use widget areas. If I want to remove a widget, I just need to choose delete, and the widget will disappear. Let's go back to the main widget area. Again, if you don't want certain widgets to be in place, you can simply choose to delete them by removing them. You can also add additional widgets. And you can experiment with some of these because you can put them in and you can remove them. Go ahead and experiment and see what you might want to use them for. Now, there are additional widgets that you can use, but they have to be installed through something called plugins, which we will cover in a later video. We will, in fact, actually install a social media icons widget that will allow you to put a social media icons bar into one of your widget areas. But that's added as a plugin and then makes that particular widget available in this list. And there are many other widgets out there that you could install. A word of warning, it is possible to have malicious widgets or malicious code, so you always need to be very careful about what you add to your WordPress installation. Again, widgets add functionality. You may like them, you may not like them. Play around, experiment, see if there's any value. Some of the ones that I like are ones that can, for example, connect to a Twitter or an Instagram account and can provide a Twitter or Instagram feed in your website, which is a really cool way of integrating your different social media assets with your corporate website. Once you have configured your widgets the way you want them, of course, remember to publish your site, and then you'll be able to go back and preview and see how the site looks and whether or not it is exactly what you want. If not, go back and edit it some more. The last area we want to take a look at is the content area. I'm going to skip over homepage, I'm going to skip over header for the time being. I just want to take a look at content. When we click on content, this controls the content that is displayed on the blog page here. Notice that it says posts layout. Right now it says large image. You'll notice there's a big picture of the dog here. Sidebar is on the right side. This is the widget area. It is on the right side. And the display of the blog is going to be a full post. Let's take a look at the options we have. First of all, we can change from large image to small image, and notice our posts look like this. We can change from small image to grid. Our posts look like this, maybe a little denser. You might like it a little bit better. You can change the sidebar to the left-hand side. You might like that better, your search box on this side. And you can choose whether you want it to show the full post or just the excerpt. Remember that we configured the excerpt in our blog posts. So with an excerpt configured, you'll notice we do not have a continue reading. We simply have the excerpt. Now, if you don't populate the excerpt, if you don't fill that in when you create your post, then you obviously will not have the information show up here. You can also control how long that excerpt is going to be. This is 20 words, I assume, because it's certainly not 20 characters. It could be longer or it could be shorter. The last would be welcome text. And if you paste in some welcome text, I've suggested that you put this in, then you can see that the welcome text shows up here under your header. You may find this is a great way to let people know where they are and what they should expect to find. If I put this back to large image, you'll notice it is just above the first blog post. If I put it back to right sidebar, you'll notice it now looks like this. And if I go back to full post, you'll notice that I get a layout with the continue reading link back in it. Notice that down here we also have a show full height featured image and single posts and pages. You can experiment with this checkbox or not. Notice it doesn't make a difference here, but when you click on the actual post link, it may make a difference within the post. So again, if you like your settings, if you like what you've done here, you can click on Publish, and then you can go back and you can preview your page. Notice that content area is here. So we have configured our site. There are of course other things that we can do as well, but for the purposes of the exercise right now, this is really the only area that we might need to change in the various themes. Your next steps will be to go out and explore some themes. Remember, don't install too many of them. I would not do more than 3, even 3 may be pushing it a little bit. You really should be able to figure out what you like with 2 and absolutely no more than 3 additional themes installed into your WordPress site. So explore and get started on your content, start getting it in. Remember, once you have your content into the site, you can remove some of the customizations that we've done. For example, you can remove the logo, you can remove the site icon, you can change the title so that it matches your content. You can also go out and you can, once you start putting your own posts into the site, you can go out and you can start removing these posts that we did in the last exercise. So now it's up to you. Have fun.